Welcome to Alicyn's Wonderland, coming at you live from the Real Voice LA studios. I want to say welcome. Thank you guys so much. This is actually our first episode in the studios today, so it's going to be a very exciting day. I want to ask you guys to all please subscribe on YouTube because we've built such an awesome community on Instagram, and I would love to help build that community over here. So go ahead and smash. That's what the kids are saying. Smash the follow button.
You're watching Alicyn's Wonderland, inside the world of animation and games.
Today we have a very special guest, the one and only Maile Flanagan. Woo. So let's welcome Maile.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hi. Gosh, it's almost like, I love the way you spell your name. Maile. Yeah. I also have a unique spelled name. It's Alicyn.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, is there any story behind that?
Not really. It's Hawaiian. I was born in Honolulu. So and it means like you get, like when you get to Hawaii, I think you get a Maile. And it also means Mary, you know, that's. So everyone thinks it's Irish because my last name, Flanagan. They're always like, Maile Flanagan, you know, and I'm always like, yeah. Like, you know, I don't bother to correct them. I think it's an Irish first name.
That's perfect. But it's such like a nice mashup of who you are. I mean,
right. And thank God for Miley Cyrus, because now I could just say Miley and then like, oh, Miley. You know, whereas before it was impossible for
I mean, you guys
years.
are practically indistinguishable. So it's like.
We're the same.
We're the same.
Yeah.
She lives in Toluca Lake, by the way, or she used to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's, everyone I know who has worked with her loves her.
Yeah.
Same. You know, I don't know why she gets so much heat, because she's really, from what I hear, she's totally cool and hardworking, and yeah.
When you're that hot,
I guess
there's going to be some haters.
I know.
Exactly. Preaching to the choir. So you grew up in Hawaii, but you also grew up all over Europe. You were in Boston.
Yeah, not really. I didn't really grow up in Hawaii, though I'm going there in a month. Whoa. To Kauai Con, convention. I know. And then I'm going to blow all the money and stay on the Big Island for like a week. Yeah. But so I was born there. Then we moved to Florida for like a year, then back to Hawaii. And then when I was about 5.5, I moved to Bangkok.
What was that like?
Oh, it was great. I loved it. We lived there. And then I moved in March 20th. And near the end of 5th grade, I moved to Nuremberg, Germany. That was interesting. And then I moved to,
Culture shock?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, also we were like riding horses in Bangkok, and, you know, we lived in this great house. We had servants, you know, the whole thing. And then we moved to this military temporary quarters. It was awful. Like on the 6th floor, they were old maids' quarters until we got our house. Then we moved into the Red Baron's commander's old house, which was not on the housing area. And it's a long story. It was hard at first, but then we moved to Munich. Then I went to college in Boston, so I go back and forth from Boston to Munich.
You know I'm from Boston.
I know.
That's amazing. You went to BU, right?
I went to BC.
BC.
Yeah, come on.
My bad, dude.
Come on.
Dude.
Yeah.
Wait, but I heard your mom and your dad both have Boston accents.
They did, but they didn't live there for like 30 years. I mean, it was so thick. Huh. They were both from the Boston area. Then I moved, after college, I lived for like a year on my sister's pull-out chair in D.C.
Yeah. Not even a pull-up couch.
Not even a pull-up.
Like, that would have been an upgrade.
It was a pull-out chair. And I was waiting to become a spy, which we'll talk about later. And then I decided to reform my college comedy improv troupe, and booked us all over Cape Cod. And then we decided to stay together, and we voted on where to live one day, hungover, sitting on the beach, just, you know, show of hands.
Throwing darts at the beach.
Yeah. One guy was like from Minneapolis. And we're like, all right, let's move there on, I think it was supposed to be like October 1st.
It's like a less intimidating city, you know? It's like New York.
One guy's
LA.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Yeah. And we didn't want to stay in Boston.
You get to shine.
Yeah. And so two of the people were from the Midwest. They went and got us a house, and we all drove out there, got jobs, and put up a show.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. So your improv troupe at BC was like one of the oldest improv troupes in the country?
I think so. I mean, I'm sure Hasty Pudding at Harvard is, but they're not improv really. They aren't, are they? I don't think they do improv. I don't know. Actually, it wasn't that old. The one in Minneapolis that I did eventually do some shows with is one of the oldest.
Wow.
Like, I think it's older than Second City even. But for our college troupe, it's like, it was only in its second generation. I helped get it going because the seniors graduated and stuff. And then, but after us came like Amy Poehler and, she was in it, but not when I was in it. She's younger than me. So she was like with some of the people that I did it with. But yeah.
That's amazing.
I don't know her, by the way. I think one time I
Can
introduced...
you get Amy on the show?
Yeah, I introduced myself to her. She's like, hey, yeah, great. Yeah. I mean, she was nice, but...
You're like, Boston?
Yeah, hello. I actually do know quite a lot of people that know her well, but...
Yeah. I mean,
she was eating dinner.
Yeah.
We both went to the same restaurant that was closed. And then we were all standing around looking for another restaurant. And so finally, I've seen her a lot, just out. But finally I said, hey, I just want to tell you, I went to BC and I was in Fleabag. She's like, oh. And then I said somebody. And she's like, who? I don't know if I said the wrong person or what, but she's cool. She's totally cool. We just all wanted to eat dinner, basically.
You're like, please feed me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now when you moved to Minnesota, I heard you guys had some really, really interesting neighbors.
Yeah. So next door, we were the comedy house. We all lived together till we all started fighting each other.
The post-college frat.
Yeah, it was.
You're like, we're the comedy house.
Till you all don't get along. Right?
Zip.
And next door was the rock and roll house, and it was the guys from Soul Asylum and the Jayhawks. And then who we hung around with was the Semisonic and all those guys.
That's amazing.
In fact, that song, Closing Time, we all used to go to the same bars. And we'd walk to the same bars. And one was Liquor Lyle's. There's a guy there that had sideburns. And he was like, just this old kind of, I don't know if he got hit by a motorcycle accident or something. But he was the bouncer. And he'd be like, closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And that became Closing Time.
So was this
have to go
before?
home, but you can't stay here. Yeah, that's from him.
So was
That's what he would say
this
every
was
night.
like before they were rock stars.
Well, they were local rock stars,
Yeah.
and they weren't Semisonic then. They had a different group. And then the guy from Semisonic, like he wrote the Dixie Chicks huge album. He wrote Adele's album 21 or something. I don't know. Yeah, these guys went on to crazy careers.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a long time ago, man.
The Soul Asylum album from '92 was definitely like the soundtrack to my life. I was listening to that before our interview, and it was just like bringing me back.
Was that
straight
Runaway
back.
Train or?
Yeah, Runaway Train, Black Gold,
Yeah.
and what? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't hear it that much anymore.
I guess it would be classic rock at this point.
Well, yeah. I guess I'm classic. Then.
Yes. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being classic.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. We're drinking some lovely tea and sparkling water.
I sliced open my finger, if you're wondering what this is all about.
Oh, yeah?
It's better now.
What's the story with the...
I was washing a knife.
That's
so
what
interesting.
they all say. Miley, blink twice if you need some rescuing.
I was in
Some
Joshua
to
Tree, though. I was in a fabulous place in Joshua Tree when I did it. So,
Oh, yeah?
which also means that the hospital is like miles away. Yeah.
I have had to take a friend to the
Oh, yeah.
hospital before, yes.
And it's a trip. The people in the waiting room, like, I'm totally going to write a sitcom about it. I was only 2 hours, though, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see some
You could rate
crazy
yourself
stuff.
as like the head nurse at the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, that's so fun.
I ate a lot of nurses.
Now accepting pitches. Yeah, you do. You're one of the more rare voice actors that also has a thriving on-camera career. Shameless, you were in The
Yep.
Office. I mean, you have so many
Lab
comedy
Rats.
credits.
I was on for 5 years.
Lab Rats, Mindy Kaling's.
Oh, that was
The
fun.
Mini
Yeah, it was
Project.
one of her last shows.
Oh, that's so fun.
And it was wild. I auditioned for it and I thought, I'm way too young because the role called for someone older and the people I was auditioning against were much older than me. And my manager just said, pull over. Are you driving? I said, yeah, pull over. I did. She said, you got the part. And can you go to Universal right now and get fitted? And I said, yeah. And
Wow.
and man, their wardrobe, she approves everything. By the way, she approves every single thing on that show. She has her hand in it. And
Wow.
yeah, it was crazy. And anyway, at 4:45 a.m. the next day, I started shooting up in like the hills of Malibu, kind of, basically. Yeah, it was nuts.
That is nuts.
And it was 118 degrees. She was pregnant, but nobody knew it. We were hiking, so we had hiking things on, vests, things. Extras kept flopping over, ambulances kept coming. They had cooling tents. I mean, we'd have ice cream every 3 hours. Yeah, she never lost it. She was awesome. I have a lot of respect for her.
That's amazing. Yeah, that show was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Love, love, love that show. How do you balance your career? I mean, because with voiceover, it's like you're getting auditions every single day. And then with on camera, they expect you to be ready.
Well,
at the drop
by
of
the
a hat.
time I really got kicking in on camera, where it wasn't just some guest stars and some movies and stuff like that, we were already recording from home pretty much, I think. So that was easy. But I mean, there was I remember a day, actually a week, but I was on Lab Rats, which was on Disney XD. And I got cast in Shameless, and I had a recurring role. I did 6 episodes of that. I was supposed to go to Chicago, but that kind of never happened, which was fine. So I shot it all here. And I went from my agents and managers worked it out. I went from Shameless at 5 a.m. to Lab Rats over lunch, drove over the hill. Then I did Lab Rats until I can't remember what time. Then I had to go home and record a couple pickups for Naruto. Yeah. And then that same week, I also got a commercial. So I went
On camera?
on camera. So I did a commercial for some bank in Canada. And I went from Lab Rats, shot the commercial, and then went back to Lab Rats and finished shooting. Yeah. So,
nuts.
I mean, it was nice. You know, you pay for it. I mean, that's what agents and managers are for. They take a bunch of money, but it's worth every penny when you're that busy.
Yeah.
And on camera's pretty slow right now. So, and we self-tape now. So,
but you've had some, huge projects that sort of.
Yeah. Evan Almighty and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, huge projects that didn't go.
Also that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a huge pilot on camera for ABC. I think it would have kind of been the next Modern Family kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And we started shooting, and then March 13th was the day all of LA shut down. We had our hair and makeup test. We were supposed to have a cast dinner. We did our network reads. The next day we did hair and makeup. They were giving us Friday off. Monday we were going to start a rehearsal for 2 days and then shoot. And they called us during the hair and makeup test. Todd was getting, the director, he was getting all these texts, like, okay, all right.
Is it happening?
And they said, okay, we're calling off the dinner. And then they called us we had Friday off anyway, and they called Friday. They said, we're going to shut down for 2 weeks. And then luckily we did do it in December 10th. So from March till December. But I think it kind of lost some steam.
I mean, of course,
Yeah.
right? The world was different.
I think if it had just kept going, it would be a huge hit right now. But you know what? I've had a lot of opportunities that I haven't got, but I've gotten a lot of opportunities. Like, I can't tell you how many Nickelodeon pilots I've done for on camera, voiceover.
For voiceover, yeah.
Yeah. It's just the thing. The older you get, the more you're like, yeah, that would have been fun. That would have been great, but
yeah,
you got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, and that's so important. I mean, I think one of the things that I find so lovely about you is just this real quality that is very down to earth, accessible, but also, doesn't sugarcoat it.
No,
tells it like it is. Like,
I've been accused of worse, but yeah, I guess I'm pretty blunt because it's like, so what?
Yeah.
Like, don't whine to me about that.
Well, and then, that builds instant trust because that someone is going to tell you what they really feel and not try to be nice.
Yeah. I mean, there are a few projects I've taken part in where I'm like, yeah, they were great to work with. And it's like,
you're actually very nice.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that you're, not very nice.
But, people will always ask you, what was it like working with Jim Carrey? I've worked with him twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he gave me a men's size, extra large black bathrobe both times for a wrap gift. Like just weird stuff like that. Like he was very nice. And that's a weird thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was,
you know, well, one size that's definitely going to fit everybody, right? Although us petite people are just like, what?
But you know what? My friend's uncle and my brother loved him. You know,
Yeah, and then you're like,
how many
I'm
bathrobes do you
running out
need?
of people to give bathrobes to.
Black extra large men's bathrobe.
You could do it as like a giveaway when you're doing, you know, you do a lot of signings and
charity,
a lot of, you know, live conventions and stuff like that. Maybe your next Jim Carrey bathrobe. You go,
First, I have to get a Jim Carrey movie again.
Hey, well, this is the place where magic happens.
That's the wood, I think.
That is. Yeah, I'm knocking on plastic here. Let's knock on this beautiful wood display. So I'm curious, Naruto, like how did it come about that you ended up booking that job?
You know, it was just like every other job. I got the audition. At that point, we were still going into our agencies to audition.
And you were with CSD,
CSD, which I'm still with.
Yeah.
That's where we met. At her retirement. I'm still sad. And I auditioned, and then I got called back to it's called a callback. And there are a lot of people there. People from Viz.
In person?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. People from San Francisco from Viz. Obviously the people from the studio and the director, you know, Jamie, who runs Studiopolis. And yeah, they just kind of had me work through it I was in there for 40 minutes and I was sweating, you know, because you're kind of nervous and it was a lot of work. It was like fighting and running in different ages and different emotions, crying, everything. And then I walked out and I was like, thanks, you know, I really appreciate it. I hope, you know, hopefully I'll get the job. And Jamie was like, you got the job. And I was like, why didn't you tell me that like 20 minutes ago?
I would have sweat a little less.
Yeah, exactly. And so then I went home and I booked myself a trip for my birthday to New Orleans because I'd never been. And my birthday was coming up. So that's how I kind of remember what time
When is your birthday, by the way?
May 19th.
May 19th? It's coming up.
I know. I'll be in, I might be in Orlando for another convention.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I had to put it off for 3 years.
It's time to go back. You were like, I'm ready for Florida. Now I'm triple back.
I'm not that ready for Florida. I'm definitely not ready for Texas. Mm-hmm. I'm not that ready for Florida, but I'm hoping by July it might be okay. I don't know. I mean, it's one that I'd signed up for years ago. Like, I'm still doing all these conventions that like this Minneapolis one, it's been rescheduled 3 times because of the pandemic. And I'm going there in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks? Yeah. I wonder, it'll be in the past, I guess, when this episode comes out.
Maybe, yeah. But then I'm going to Hawaii. I'm going to Denver, Orlando. Where else am I going? Rhode Island, San Francisco, South Dakota.
What?
Yeah.
All this
South Dakota's for a cancer benefit. What else? I'm missing a few here and there.
What is the biggest draw? Which of your projects do you get most fans? Naruto. So you get the audition, you find out you book the job. Now, at this time, what had you known about the project?
Nothing.
It was
It was, all I saw was a rendering.
Yep.
I wasn't even dubbing. I don't do a lot of dubbing.
Yeah.
It's weird. I got in this weird thing about dubbing the other day on social media, and I'm like, I've done a lot of dubbing because of Naruto. Yeah. But I'm not in the anime world. Yeah. Really at all, except for Naruto and then Boruto. Uh-huh. And I did a little part the other day, and that's the only anime I've done. Like, so people always think that I'm an anime person. Like, even in Minneapolis, they were like, can you serve on this panel about anime? And I'm like, I don't know anything about anime. Like, I don't.
But yes.
Yeah.
But sure.
Actually, no, I asked to be on a different panel. Because I was like, people are going to ask me questions about it. Yeah. It was like sort of old school versus new school. And I'm like, I don't know that. I don't know old school.
It's very interesting. Olivia Hack was on a couple weeks ago, and she was saying that she felt anime was like the soap opera of voiceover. Do you think that there's some truth behind that? I kind of do, yeah. And also, for a long time, it was very inside. It was very niche. There were only a few people doing it. It's kind of what happened. And based in Texas, so much of it
a lot of them.
Not
that still happens, and not a lot of non-union stuff, which is why I never did it. My agents don't want to submit me for that because it doesn't pay very well. Yeah. I mean, the conventions pay well, and if you do video games, et cetera, it adds up. But the whole anime world, it's not like I do a lot of original animation. But I happen to do one of the biggest anime characters or one of the biggest cartoon characters in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and it's worldwide. Like I meet people, I've been to Sweden, and all over Canada, Puerto Rico. People invited me down to Portugal, or not Portugal, sorry, Brazil. They watch it in English. India, Pakistan. I've not been to those places, but
Wow.
it's huge in South Africa.
And it's the English.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, you know, I don't know I think there's a Spanish version, but I know it was for a long time, it was about 49 countries, I think, where I'm the voice of Naruto. What? Yeah. That's crazy.
So
have you ever seen yourself on camera with a different voice coming out of your
my face? No, I don't think so.
Oh, I once saw myself in,
Nobody's dubbing me. Nobody that.
It was just for lab rats, and the Spanish version of me is fantastic. She sounds a lot like me.
Oh my God.
There's one that was, somebody sent me some other one, and I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound great.
You're going to find her.
I know, I do.
I'm friends with the Greek Jibanyan, the guy who plays Jibanyan in Greek, and we found each other on Instagram, and he found me, and I was
really?
like, and he's like, oh yeah, I dub you.
That's so funny.
So funny. So 2006, you won an Emmy Award for outstanding performance in an animated series for Piggley Winks.
I did. Jaker's The Adventures of Piggley Winks, the longest title in the world. No, besides Boruto, Naruto, Next Generation. Yeah, it was a thrill. That show went for 5 years. I was the lead. And Tara Strong and Russi Taylor, Charlie Adler, Pam Adlon, Tom Adcox Hernandez. They were all in it. We had Mel Brooks was in it. What? He never recorded with us, but that was a thrill. I mean, he did some stuff with us, but not. He recorded on his own mostly.
Were you guys ensemble? Was it an ensemble record?
Yeah. It was on PBS. And
Kelly Ward was directing? Was that right?
Sue Blue started and Kelly Ward finished it. Yeah. And it was just really a special show. The artwork was made from original, like handmade,
hand-drawn?
Hand-drawn.
Yeah.
Hand-drawn backgrounds and stuff, taking place in a village in Ireland. And it was kind of retro. And it was so special. And we did it for 5 years.
Can you do the...
my name is Piggley Winks. I'm from the village of Tara. These are my friends, Fernie and Dan. And we have a real good time. Something like that. It's a little rusty. But it was really great. And I got nominated, which was a shocker. I was bowling at the time. And I was like, what? And when I won, I was more shocked. And I think everyone was shocked because we were at the last table. And,
it took you 35 minutes.
I think Bob Bergen came around. He's like, just let me make sure how to pronounce your name. And I was like, And I thought just because he needed the names to say, Yeah. And so I won. Here's a funny story. So two funny stories about it. So I didn't expect to win. And of course, Tara and Russi were both nominated as well as Jess Harnell was nominated for something. And anyway, I didn't expect to win at all. And I'm at the last table. We're at the last table.
Yeah.
The first table was the Ellen DeGeneres show, and I happened to know a bunch of the writers on there.
Uh-huh.
So when I won, they erupted. So everyone must have been like, who is that? And
take a note.
Yeah, I was asking for some water I was just getting more nervous. No matter what, you get nervous. It's your category.
Did you have a speech prepared and all
that? Not really, but I had thought about it just in case. So I asked for water, and they wouldn't give us water. It was really weird. And we're like, can we just get a cup of water? And
we don't need you to go to the bathroom right before
your award. Well, no, it wasn't that. They literally, once the thing started, they were like, no, we can't give you any water or anything. And everyone's like, what's going on? Yeah, it was really weird. And so my wife goes, she asked, she's like, can I get a cup of water? She really needs a glass of water. And so finally, Pat Brady and Kathy Lizio, Pat's like, here, honey, take my water. Because she heard me and she heard Lisa. And Lisa went to the back and asked somebody, like, can I get some water? And the woman's like, I'm not allowed to give it to you. Like, it's really weird. And so I was like, and then that's when Pat gave me the water. And so I went up there. I was so shocked. And I said whatever I said. I do have a CD of it somewhere. I should look at it and see what I said. But anyway, and then I said, and 10 years ago today, not today, but 10 years ago, I worked on the daytime Emmys, like as a PA. And I said, and now I won one. So you guys, and I went, they take you through the back, and through the kitchen. And I went through the kitchen and all the caterers were lined up and gave me like a standing ovation. Aww. Yeah, because they'd heard me say that. They were all actors.
And they're all like thinking about it. They're like, can I hold it?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Can I touch it for good luck?
Well, they give you a fake one. Then they give you an Emmy, and they give you with a screwdriver. And then 2 weeks later, you get a plate with your name on it. You have to screw in your...
Screw it on yourself? Oh, so you do get to take the Emmy home that night. Oh, okay, that's good.
Your Emmy, but it doesn't have anything on it.
Yeah.
It's not like the Oscars where they engrave it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how is your Emmy doing?
It's broken. I didn't break it.
I heard it was broken.
Somebody broke. I mean, all my friends come over and pose with it.
You let somebody break your Emmy?
I didn't mean to. It's kind of tender. And then I called and I said, "Do you guys repair them?" And they're like, "Sure." Well, you have to ship it to New York. And I was like, "Yeah, that's okay."
Yeah, super glue.
So I haven't actually super glued. It's the ball thing on the top. So it just kind of sits in her arms. Yeah. And then a little ball on top of that ball also broke off, which is in an old purse of mine somewhere. I don't know. Then the second year I went, Eartha Kitt was nominated.
Oh.
And I lost to her. So I was like, that's okay.
That's fair. That's fair. You already had yours.
It's not as fun, though.
She's had a few.
But I knew she wasn't going to win, so I let myself have some
You knew
wine.
She was going to win?
I mean, was going to win. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
And the first one, I was like, I can't drink wine. Like,
Until after.
Yeah. Then we met all my friends, and they all posed with it. Everybody comes to my house and poses with it.
Oh, yeah. That's so amazing. I know. It was almost like, hey, maybe you should bring it because of this story we could see it's all broken. Yeah. I think that's so funny.
I brought it to my classes when I would guest teach at a college. And I'd bring it when I guest taught, and then I eventually ended up teaching there. But the kids loved it. It's great inspiration for your, first class to hold an Emmy for voiceover.
Yeah.
When you're teaching voiceover.
That's amazing. I know that's like one of your many talents.
Yes.
Have you ever done any Real Voices? They do workshops. I mean, the one-off workshops are a little less of a commitment.
Yeah.
But
you
have so much to say and such
not done any here.
Wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. Well, I taught for a long time there. I've done a bunch of stuff.
What school did you teach in LA?
It's called Studio School LA. It's had 2 name changes, so that's why it's a little confusing. But it's like I want to say it's more like almost like a conservatory, it's the focus is on the arts.
Performing in the arts.
So I developed the curriculum and all that stuff. But
wow. Yeah. To go there as a student and to be like my teacher.
Well, they already knew Naruto. But a lot of them would kind of play it cool till the very end. Then they'd freak out. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay. I didn't know they were fans, but they were.
Oh, and then they're like, can I get your autograph?
Yeah. Well, I would give them swag for when they graduated and stuff.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Now I have swag because I steal it. Yeah. For a long time I didn't get it.
I'm going to need that teacup back. Yeah. By the way.
I didn't steal from PBS.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Viz, sure.
Yeah. I mean, so you've done a fair amount of boy
oh my God, yes.
characters.
I've done a ton. I'm on the Loud House once in a while. Mm-hmm. I did Pig, Goat, Banana, Cricket, which was it was so funny and fun. I think it was in the wrong time slot a little bit on Nickelodeon because it was so funny. What a great cast. Candy, Milo, and Tom Wilson, and Jeff Cummings, and no, not Jeff Cummings. Sorry, Jeff
Bennett.
And
Candy was on the show
a long
time ago.
Yeah. That show was so funny. I played 2 boys on that.
Mm-hmm.
They're partners, Junior Ranger and Junior Elephant. And then I just done a ton of boys. Yeah.
And then you're also in the new Harriet the Spy cartoon for Apple TV.
I can finally talk about it. I'm the boy with the purple shoes, and I'm also Pinky. And then I'm a bunch of other voices too. It's on Apple Plus. It's so good.
Did you read the books?
Oh, I love the books. They sent me a season wrap gift around Christmas, and it was a sweatshirt that says Harriet the Spy on it, or hoodie. And I started crying. I've never done that before. Like, I started crying because I loved the book when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And Beanie Feldstein is in it and Jane Lynch. And I've only seen, I think there are more episodes out now, but I've only seen the first 5. But yeah.
I'm going to have to watch it with my son.
How old is he?
He's 6.
Oh, perfect.
He would love it.
Oh, yeah. The music is phenomenal.
Oh, really?
And they kind of...
What's the music like?
I don't know. It's just cool. I don't know.
It's like the new Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beast. The music is I was jogging to it this
Oh,
morning.
really?
The music's so dope. I really want to get the
Are you a
composer
singer?
on the show. I do sing.
Oh,
I
you
sing
do?
and
Okay.
write. I like to
Oh.
sing my own songs. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm not a singer, but lately I've had to sing in all these cartoons. And I'm
Fun.
like, yeah, it's character singing. But,
Yeah.
I get the thing and they're like, sing, 6 measures of a pop song. And I'm like, what's the easiest Jonas Brothers song I can say? Like, literally. But I've sung on 2 theme songs for being a
That's
non-singer.
Amazing.
But it's intimidating when you're with people who actually are singers and singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, okay, go up key, or I'm like, eh.
Eric Lopez was on the show and he's on the new Trolls and he was saying, yeah, I'm not a singer,
Yeah.
but they make me sound amazing.
And like they figure it out,
Yeah.
kind of, like you'll just come in with a line. That's my thing. It's
Yeah.
like, have the real singer sing, and then I just come like, Jaker's the Adventures of Piggley Winks. That's it.
Thank you,
Yeah.
residuals.
Yeah.
I'll put this over here.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny too, because Harriet the Spy, and then this is kind of coming full circle to back of why you moved around so much, is your dad was
Yes.
more or less
He was a spy. He is
literally.
passed along now, but he worked in military intelligence. He was a
Mhm.
civilian, but he worked for the military, and so we moved around. And he was on secret assignments. He would disappear in the middle of the night. Sometimes I would hear I remember because he would keep like some pants by the bed or something. I don't know if he always did, but I remember the sound distinctly. And I think his belt would be in it, and maybe his wallet or something. And so I'd hear there'd be a phone call, and then ching 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 ching, and then it'd be like, "Where's Dad?" It's like, "Oh, he's gone. Be back in a couple of weeks."
As a kid, did you know he was a spy?
Yes and no. Not when we were real little. We didn't know many specifics,
Mhm.
but our address was like 66 Military Intelligence Group. So we kind of knew, and we'd tease him about it, but he couldn't talk about it. He could tell us a little bit more when he was older. When we got older, and like we kind of didn't believe. We're like, yeah, we got to hit the Hofbräu house. So wrap it up. He literally told my brother and I, like we were home from college. He's like, well, I could tell you, chief of intelligence, counterintelligence, for Western Europe or something. We're like, no, you're not. He goes, Win, tell them. To my mom. Like, Win, tell them.
Did she tell you?
She's like, yes, he is. He is. We're like, oh, okay.
So, gosh, I mean, he
would literally disappear.
They could have kidnapped your children. I mean, or is that just in the movies?
No, there was a time where we were taking I forget what they're called, but like DYA, Dependent Youth Activities, I think. They would do tours, like we'd take buses to Spain and Greece and ferries and stuff. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
And there was a time where they were like, the general's kids and some of us kids, they were like, yeah, we have to get special permission to make sure you guys can go to this because we had to drive through somewhere it was during the Red Brigade. You probably wouldn't know about it, but it was a big deal back then. They were terrorists. At one point,
Wow.
we had 2 phones in our house.
Mm-hmm.
And one phone, if you knocked it off the receiver, the SWAT team would come and surround our house. So, yeah. Everyone grew up that way, right? Yeah.
No, in my dad's mind, he probably thought he was a spy, but
What did he do?
he was a pipe fitter.
Oh, really?
Same thing, right?
Same thing.
I mean, you're both kind of adjusting pipes.
That's right.
Putting in new pipes of
Yeah.
communication, physical pipes.
That's right. I always think
They
of,
both had Boston accents.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What area did he grow up in?
My dad grew up in Brockton, Massachusetts.
Oh, Brockton,
And,
yeah.
Dude, fuck.
Oops.
Bleep. I don't know about the swearing. We'll try not to
All
swear.
right.
We'll bleep that out.
Okay.
But Brockton. Ring around.
Yeah, I heard of Brockton the first week at Boston College because a girl down the hall was from there. And she's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm from Brockton. She's kind of a bruiser.
Yeah.
Kind of scared me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be from.
Yeah, it's a tough place, right?
Tough. Yeah.
And
I mean,
there's Rocky
I don't know about now.
Marciano and all those.
Yeah.
There were a couple other kind of tough guys. that
They were
came.
known for their shoe factories. They had multiple thriving shoe factories in the 40s that then went out of business in the 60s. And so it was
Right. Yeah.
they long for the heyday. And so it was a rough.
Yeah, when
Very.
my dad I didn't even ask my dad where he was from exactly because we never lived in the United States. We'd come visit.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, where are you from? And he's like, Nashville, New Hampshire, and I never want to go back. I was like, well, good job, you.
Yeah,
like my mom flew to Hawaii and got married in Hawaii, no friends. Like, and then, yeah.
She flew to Hawaii to live and then later got married there? Or
they were engaged. They got engaged.
Uh-huh.
And she.
In Nashua?
No, in, I didn't know. Well, I mean, in Massachusetts, I guess.
Okay.
He must have been home from serving somewhere and they got engaged. And she flew to Hawaii all by her lonesome. And her maid of honor was his best buddy's wife.
Uh-huh.
And they're still friends of ours to this day, the family. Yeah. And so she was like all alone at her wedding.
And they just stayed there.
They stayed. They stayed. They bought a house, but we rented the house for 20 years. So
Wow.
rented it out. Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Do you still have it? Is it still?
No. I know. Tell me about it.
Yeah, that would have been a nice place to spend the pandemic.
I know. Right? Yeah. Like our friends, Mary Elizabeth and Steve, they moved to Hawaii
I heard that.
and they're working from there. So
Wow.
when I'm in Hawaii, if I need work, I'll just go into their house. and
Right?
Record. Yeah.
Is it on the Big Island or?
Yeah. It is on the Big Island. I mean,
Amazing.
that's the thing. We can almost, but my on-camera career, I don't want to leave LA,
Yeah.
I mean, it would be good to have another place.
But
To,
not now. I mean, you're
Yeah.
such a good.
Well, see,
good
I'm
place.
getting, the whole thing is getting a little old. Some of it, the auditioning. For some of it,
Yeah.
I've done a lot of commercials on camera, and that gets harder and harder as you get older. I mean, the money is great, but it's like it's like a little parade. It's like, okay, bring the horses out, trot them by, pick one of them, and if you're lucky, it's you. That to me is getting harder. To do.
Thoroughbred.
Yeah. But I've done some amazing commercials, like some really cool ones with Tom Brady and Chris Paul. These are athletes. And,
Dude. Tom Brady.
yeah. Oh, yeah, Brady, you got to be. You a Pats fan?
I'm not really into sports.
Oh, okay.
But if I was, it would be the Pats. It would be the Pats and the Red Sox.
Good choice.
Yeah. So moving around from living in all those different places, do you think that actually helped your voice acting
I
career?
do. Like my best friend, when I was in Thailand for a long time, my best friend was Beatriz Perez. And, she was a Filipino. Her dad was a Filipino ambassador.
Wow.
And, yeah, so we'd always make fun of, like, we had a maid in our house, and we'd make fun of the way she talked because we were kids.
Yeah.
She was Thai, of course. And, we grew up with Indian people, and one of my best friends was Australian, and, like, all of that. And then, you move to Germany, and then you meet Germans. So, you're talking like Germans. And then
It's crazy.
I had this French teacher. I'm sure he's passed now, but not French. He's a chemistry teacher. And he was French. So he had a very thick French accent, but he had a tracheotomy.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't do very well in chemistry. It was like, I was just like, oh my God.
Could maybe be inspo for
Yeah,
an original character. At some
it
point.
could be, yeah. But yeah, so there were all sorts of crazy people, especially in the military,
Uh-huh.
And you meet people from Texas and, all of a sudden you're hanging out with the whole Texan family.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, I'll come over,
Yeah. So do you do all the different accents?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do a lot of accents.
Yeah.
Like, that's funny. I never thought that I did a lot, but when I was teaching college, the kids are like, how many accents do you do? Excuse me. And I said, yeah, the kid said, how many accents do you do? And I said, I don't know. Like, I've never thought about it before.
Yeah.
But I have a good ear. So if I can study it, I would say my worst accents are probably like Indian, Pakistani,
Uh-huh.
that in that part
Yeah.
of the world.
Well, now it seems like there's such a push to be authentic
Yes.
with accents for most things. And they have so much talent here from other parts
Yeah.
of the world that's easy to find.
Or you can
someone-
live in other parts of the world.
Or can live in other parts of the world.
Yeah. I mean, I've been directed from Spain and stuff, haven't you? Like, I did Ice Age 3. The director was in Spain,
Oh, wow.
and he was Spanish.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and I was just recording right down the street.
Oh, that's so fun.
So, like, I never met any of those people.
Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes people are like hesitant to tell you when they're like globetrotting. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they find
Do you
out
ever do a
later.
session where someone's eating on the other end of the line?
I don't think
Oh.
so.
You hear every chew, and they're like, okay, You're just like, ah.
Right.
I did a whole
Clearly
movie
it's
like that.
lunchtime.
The guy, I heard him working, get in his car, drive home, get some soup, and start eating it. Till I finally waved at the producer in the room, and I was like, "Can you tell him to stop eating?" Like, yeah. Oh no,
No, of course not.
She just said, "I think we've got it from here. I think we're just tidying up some stuff. We'll let you go." To him.
Oh,
Yeah. So.
and how many? So now I'm trying to think back to what was your very first VO job?
Men in Black or Jackie Chan, the series.
Jackie Chan. It's so funny because I was watching a clip from that. You played the little playground bully.
Yeah.
What was his
My
name?
first bully. I can't remember.
Well, because so my character in Rugrats is also like the playground bully, and I was like, I knew I loved this girl. It's like something in our aura.
Yeah, exactly.
reads.
Bullies.
Bullies.
Yeah. Boy bullies.
Boy bullies.
Sometimes girl bullies, but a lot of boy bullies.
It's so fun.
Or DMV workers for me. Somebody like that.
DMV workers.
Gym teachers.
Yeah. Ah,
Yeah.
it's a good niche.
Whatever pays.
So then that was how long has it been?
Sue Blue did my demo and she was directing
Yeah,
those
I was
shows.
curious about your relationship
Yeah.
for that. So did you just meet her? Did you take her classes and stuff?
I took other
I
classes.
studied with Cynthia.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Well, I did my demo prep with her and Cynthia. And so
Did
then
you know her before then, or you just had heard?
I did not. Pat Brady told me to take this class,
Yep.
this class, this class, and this class. Do my demo with Sue Blue, and that's what I did. Also,
yeah.
Pat Brady was working on camera, and she was at a different agency. She brought me with her to CESD. And so I was doing commercials, and she knew the second year I was in LA, I killed it. I think I did 18 commercials. Yeah, and that's when commercials were like, I did Pepsi, I did Chex, I did, God, I don't know.
Wow.
Office Max.
18.
Yeah, 18. And so she's like, you have the money. She knew how much I was making. So she's like, you have the money. You're going to go take this class here and this class here and this class here. And I did. So, I really owe a lot of that to Pat Brady.
And you and Sue hit it off right away.
Yes, we did. And so then she just gave me these little parts on those two shows.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I auditioned for them, because they were small parts. And then it was a while. And then I kept just auditioning. I don't remember what the next I did a Tom and Jerry movie.
That's so funny.
That I got.
Yeah.
And I think I got it because somebody had the part and dropped out, but I have a similar, I do a bunch of stuff like
that, whatever works.
Like Pam Adlon, I've done a bunch of her behind the scenes kind of voices. Because she's too busy now.
Yeah.
Because we're on camera career. And so I've done a bunch of voice matching too. One in German, which was wild, but yeah.
That's so funny. I'm like, maybe when Miley's too busy.
Yeah, you can match.
I'll step in.
Yeah.
Yeah, her, oh my God, better things is.
Pam Adlon is so funny. On Jaker, she would say to me, Miley, how do you say this in Irish? And then she would just sound like Pam Adlon. She didn't sound Irish at all. At all. They didn't care.
They didn't care. Nobody cared.
Nobody cared. She's so good.
She's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you did your demo with Sue and you started getting bit parts here and there. And then and then in Black. That was Sue also?
Yeah, that was Sue. And then I did, like I said, I think that was the, I have to look at, then I did the Tom and Jerry thing.
Yeah.
And then I must have done a bunch of other guest stuff. And then I got Jakers. I got the lead. They auditioned 500 Irish kids in Ireland, from Ireland. Yeah. And Pat Brady, when she told me to audition for that part, she's like, I don't want you slating. I'm going to have some guy slate it for you. So it'll be a generic voice. So they didn't know if I was a guy or a girl for a long time. Until, so that was in my favor. And then I got that.
That's brilliant.
And I think I still had my day job at the time. I think the whole time I did it was only once a week. So I still was working as a researcher and segment producer for documentary reality kind of TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was really fun. I loved it. Did a lot of court stuff, medical stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. Some stuff. I did that for a long time. I loved it. Then I used to cast the recreations, for crime stuff.
Oh, the reenactments?
The reenactments.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've done some of that.
Oh, yeah. I cast everybody I knew.
Oh, that's good.
Everybody I know has been murdered. Yeah. And most of it in my house, you just try and make it look like a different place. Like shady lighting in a plant, I'd send,
different corner.
I
each
finally
week.
got an assistant. I would send her to the carpet store because she was really pretty. And I was like, go get some more carpet samples. And then we bloody the person on a different piece of carpet sample. Just making it close up.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, because it was like, because you were working your day job straight up till you won your,
I think I quit. Yeah.
It was more because you loved it.
I think I won the Emmy and then
it work.
Quit.
Then
and I kind of
like,
went back and did a couple special projects because I liked them. Because I love the work. Like I went and did something called Sports Wives, not the trashy kind, but it was. So I went down and hung out with Roger Clemens and his wife for like 10 days in Houston. It was pretty fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people, both people that might be getting started, but also people just to, as you've built your career over time, how have you been able to work consistently for so long?
Well, when I first moved to LA, I did 3 things a day to further my career. And I moved here a long time ago, January of 96. I did those, whether I was sick or not, or whatever. I did 3 things. And some of it would be watching a show I wouldn't like or watch. Like, I'm not big into sci-fi. So I might be like, all right, well, I should watch this because I might have to audition for it.
Yeah.
I'd send off a postcard or I'd, see a play, do a play. I did a lot of theater, do a lot of theater. Do improv, do theater. Yeah. Yeah, you got to do theater and you got to work hard at it. Just be around it. I think the one weird thing about the pandemic and these times is you can do a lot, which is great with your own equipment. Yeah. You also should get to know a network of people, So if you do theater and projects with people, eventually probably some of those people are going to start working a lot more. Like, my friend Tom McCarthy that I was in the improv group won the Oscar for Spotlight. And we were in the improv group together. Nancy Carell, who's married to Steve. Yeah. My friend Wayne Wilderson works all the time. So find your tribe. Take an improv class.
Yeah.
Take a theater class. Volunteer at a theater. Like literally just be an usher. You'll see bad acting and good acting. You'll know what's good and what not to do. I was a casting associate for a while. Back in Minneapolis.
Eye-opening.
It's so eye-opening. You see what people do to tank themselves and, you see people that are amazing. You see behind the scenes that it's not about you, the actor. Yeah. So you can't take it personally because somebody will just be like, he reminds me of my brother. I hate my brother. You're just like, what?
Literally, yeah.
Yeah. Weird stuff.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, it has been so lovely chatting with you today. Thanks. I could chat with you for like a million years.
I know.
I know you have a session later.
I have to go scream for Naruto Next Generations. I should know the title. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
The gift that keeps giving.
That's right.
Yeah.
Smoke them if you got them. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it is the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah. Well,
lucky me.
To many more miracles.
Yes.
And the continued career.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Maile. Yeah. Thanks, guys, so much for listening, for watching, whether you're listening or watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. And I'm just realizing now that it applies to podcasts too. So if you're listening orally, also subscribe. Thank you so much. You guys leave a comment and let us know what you think. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.